speaking of indie creators, we got a couple really terrific ones coming up in the next segment. Joining us after the break, we're going to be joined by indie rock duo Twilight Muse, otherwise known as Megan Polaro and Andrew Shapiro. A really cool pop rock duo. Definitely true indie rock. I love their music. They got a new album coming out on the 23rd. I've been digging their catalog. And really, I've been digging their story. And I'm excited to share the story of Twilight Muse with the indie creators because I think there's a lesson in their story that other creators can adhere to. Because whereas you have a lot of indie creators who start their career off when they're very, very young and, work through their career and that's their singular focus and they're going to, quote, follow their passion their whole life. Twilight Muse's story is different and in a lot of ways is the story of a lot of modern indie creators where these are two terrific musicians who did other things in their life first. Andrew Shapiro, a terrific lawyer and an impact investor. Megan Polaro was an entertainment industry executive. They did their respective careers for a long time. They were great at those careers. They continue to be great. And sometime later in their life, they met up at one of these musician meetup kind of things, these entertainment jam sessions. They met at one of these jam sessions. They said, hey, we really like playing together. They formed a duo and they're off to the races. And, the album is great and they're able to use the connections they gained in their separate careers to, move their career forward in a way they wouldn't have otherwise been able to had they just started in their music career from the beginning. And I like these kind of stories because it gets back to a piece of advice I tell students all the time when I teach classes at college. I always end with this same piece of advice to every group of students. And people think I'm crazy for it. And I'm going to be like the last person that ever gets invited to a graduation speech for giving this advice because it's like the most anti-graduation speech advice. But the advice is don't feel like you have to follow your passion, which is the opposite advice you hear at graduation speeches, right? Yeah. It's always follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion. But I think what the Twilight Muse story tells us is you can actually oftentimes achieve your passion more effectively by not following your passion and instead do what I call following your success. Ooh. So you may come at a time in your life where you are at a crossroads where you're like, I'm really passionate about X, whether it's making music, whether it's acting. It's usually something in the creative profession. That's usually where people's passions are. Nobody's passionate about roofing. Or accounting or something like that. They're passionate about, being a rock star or whatever. And so you might follow your passion, or you might find out at a relatively young age, as people do, that you're really good at something that you could be successful at. And maybe it is accounting. And maybe you're not passionate about accounting, but you're damn good at it. And you like it. You don't love it. It's not your all-encompassing everything, but you really like it. And you're good at it, there is something to be said for not following your passion and instead follow your success. Be the accountant. Be really good at the accountant. Become successful. Become prominent. Make lots of money. And along the way, keep your passion close to you. And use the connections, the money, the resources, the doors opened from following your success to create opportunities for your passion. There's a gentleman that I one of my mentors, one of my clients, a gentleman I won't mention his name on the air, but he's really prominent. His passion is making movies. He loves making movies. He's always been passionate about movies. And so he could have done at a young age what a lot of people who are passionate about making movies do, which is, I'm going to go to film school. I'm going to do the traditional route. I'm going to go to film school. I'm going to be broke. I'm going to get an internship at a film studio. I'm going to get coffee for some director. I'm going to grind my way up the ladder. It's going to suck. And maybe in 20, 30 years, I get to be a film producer.
If you're not suffering, it's not art.
Right. And you get to suffer and you're broke and you may never actually achieve the success. And instead of doing that, he could have done that. He could have followed his passion. Instead, he realized, I'm really pretty good at real estate. In fact, I'm very good at real estate. So what did he do? He went into real estate development. He, got really into that. He was very successful at it. He made lots of money. He opened a lot of doors for himself. He built businesses. And along the way, he got into the rooms with the elites because he was exceptional at what he does. And you know this, Lauren. Elites, regardless of industry, tend to run in the same circles. You know, the elite party is going to have the movie stars in it, but it's also going to have the real estate tycoons in it. It's going to have the best damn accountants and the best damn college professors because elites like to run together. And so he got into the rooms with those elites, not because of what he did on the film side, but what he did on the real estate side. And he got to meet those film production industry people. He got to meet music industry people. And so what is he doing now? He produces films. And he got there not by following his passion, where he still might be trying to get somebody coffee to this day, but instead he got there by following his success and using the resources and the talents and the doors open from following his success to achieve his passion. And I feel like Twilight Muse might be a story like that as well. These are two people who achieved success in different fields, but then used that success to get to where they are today, which is making music together, which is their passion. And I'll make this last note on this point. I see it in my own entertainment law practice. All right. I have a lot of entertainment law clients who absolutely followed their passion, right? They've been creative professionals their whole lives, and it was a grind, but they got there and they're successful, and I am their lawyer. But a lot of my entertainment clients are accountants, are business peoples, are doctors, are lawyers, are teachers. And they do their creative thing on the side to fulfill them, to make them happy. And they use the resources that they gain from their actual career to fund their career in the entertainment industry. And they're getting a lot farther in their passion by following their success than they would have gotten just by following their passion directly and being most likely broke. And so, I mean, I guess the lesson in all that is to tell creators, like, if you're not 100% following your passion right now, don't feel like that's failing. Follow your success. Keep your passion close to you.
There you
Follow
go.
your success, and you might be able to achieve success that way as well.
I do like that. Don't lose your passion or let your passion, go to the wayside. I like the follow success, but let your passion fuel you, because if you're going to be aiming for things that make you successful, you're still going to want to do it for a reason that's fulfilling to you. So like you're saying, if you can make the connections or make the money or make any of these things doing things you're happy doing, that's great. And when it's fueled by a passion that you can then use those assets to benefit, like that's still feeding your passion, and that's still achieving your goals. But maybe a different path than you're used to hearing, When
I give the piece of advice to students, I say it just like that. I say, don't follow your passion. And they go, what? You're a teacher. You're not supposed to say that. I say, don't follow your passion. Keep your passion close to you, but follow your success. I even like to think that I adhere to that in my own work as well. Like, if you were to ask me, if you were to inject me with truth serum and be like, all right, Ryan, admit it. What are your passions? Like, what is the passion in your life? And I'd say, in terms of professional passions, like obviously passionate about my family, blah, blah, blah. But what are your professional passions? I'd probably say, if you had to pin me down, doing radio and teaching. Those are the two things I'm probably the most passionate about. I like talking on this podcast and hanging out with you, Lauren. And I like teaching. I like teaching college students. If I did either of those things full time, I would probably hate it. If I had to teach a full course load and make it as my full-time job, I would probably hate it. Too much teaching, too much administrative stuff, and probably not making enough money to, to support my family the way I want to. And similarly, if I was doing radio full-time, I'd probably hate it. Too much administrative work. I'd be out in like some random city in Shreveport right now doing, overnight drive as a DJ or something. And I would hate it. And so instead of follow your passion, I realized I was pretty good at being an entertainment lawyer, and I was pretty good at law, and I like law. And so I've been able to use law as a way to, sustain myself and make a good living and be happy. But also, following my success allowed me to do the things of my passion. I'm now a radio host.
Yay!
And I'm, talking about things I'm interested in, and I'm a teacher. Nobody would be hiring me for teaching jobs if I didn't achieve some level of prominence in entertainment law. So I guess, that shows the other way this can happen. We'll call it the Twilight Muse approach, right? Like Twilight Muse are where they are right now because they found success in respective fields, achieved that success, and used that success to get to this really cool point in their lives where they have encountered their passion later in life together, making a really awesome album that comes out June 23rd that we're going to talk to them all about after the break. That was kind of a circuitous way to get there, but I think it's an important lesson for indie creators because we feed young people such a steady diet of you have to be doing your passion all the time. If it doesn't make you insanely happy at every moment, you're doing something wrong. When in reality, we should provide them with something more nuanced about keeping your passion close to you, understanding that, it's close to your heart and it's going to be the thing that sustains you. But it's okay to do something you like but don't love if you can find success at it, because that success might lead you to your passion.
Yeah. Or to more success in your passion. You could be doing your passion every day of your life, but you could also be draining yourself in many, many, many ways. And your passion can, again, fuel everything else you're doing when it gets to be your passion and doesn't become if I don't do this, everything in my life is falling apart, which isn't helpful.
There's another side to following your passion as well that I think should be discussed if we're going to talk about the psychology of, quote, following your passion. And I've seen a lot of people who follow their passion and follow it so of one mind, like so focused, so tunnel vision about their passion that it winds up ceasing to be their passion. Because,
you turned it into work, right?
What better way to hate the thing that you love the most in the world by making it the thing that you have to do to survive? And for some people, it works out really well for them. But I've seen, my law school class had many a failed screenwriter in it. Many a actor who it didn't work out for them. And now when I say to them, hey, would you ever think about, writing another play again or writing another movie? Oh God, no, I'm done with that. Because they banged their head against the wall so hard trying to follow their passion and do nothing else early in their career, they wound up hating it. I think, and again, going back to my own example, I think if I had to teach every day, I would hate it despite it being my quote unquote passion. If I had to do radio every day, I'd probably hate it despite it being my passion. So, be more nuanced about this. That's all I'm saying.
It gives you depth too. Like I used to tell my students, if you can do anything else and be happy, do it. And it wasn't a don't do this, but it is in the entertainment world, as a actor or as a musician, making music about making music for people who make music isn't giving your audience, isn't, bringing in a broad audience. You're not bringing experience from things other than the music world or the theater world. And so when you can be an attorney or when you can go make a roof or be an accountant, you have a perspective that you get to bring to your art because you've lived a life outside of the art world as well, which I think has value when you're making art.
I like that. And I would love to talk to Andrew and Meg about that and see the extent to which their respective professional backgrounds outside of music helped inspire their art. I'm almost positive it did, but I don't want to speak for them. We'll hear from them in the next segment about that.
Yes.